Okay guys, welcome. Stock market technical analysis. I'm going to go through some charts, point out what's going on today. A couple trade ideas I want to point out, some new trade ideas, and we'll wrap. So thank you for following along. Leave me a thumbs up. Let's get right into it. Triple Qs. So Qs is kind of holding above this gap right here. So you see this gap from way back here in February. That's the level of resistance we're kind of holding right there. You can see a couple days where we're basically just holding. Today kind of rallying. We'll see how we close the day. We got another hour to go, but the level to watch is this 330.43. As of right now, looks like it might hold, and if it does, we're likely going to run up and make a new all-time high. Okay, so that's kind of what I see in the short term on Qs. So we'll watch for that, and really just looking at that key level that we pivot off of. SPY, nothing new really to report on SPY. We're at all-time highs basically, and we're just continue to trade, just right in that area. If you look at the hourly, we've just kind of gone flat. We gapped up, made an all-time high, and we're just kind of flat. So nothing changed there until I see some sort of a change in the technical posture. I don't see any trade here or anything to really read besides the fact that we're just at all-time highs. The only thing on the bigger picture is if you look at the daily, this all-time high that we just made is a divergent high. So I have that circled. We made a new high in price, and yet the momentum is lower. So this is a divergent high. I think there's a higher probability that this high is going to fail and we're going to sell off. But nothing's changed right now in the price action. So that's it. We're seeing some selling in IWM today. So again, this is just the continued whack-a-mole market that we're in. We're basically, the tech sector sells off and then the small caps and the SPY rallies. The small caps sell off and the tech sector rallies. There's just this fast rotation going on right now where it's just jumping from one sector to the other. So today, the small caps sold off. Basically, this gap right here was that's the resistance level of 225.04. We sold off back down to the level of support, which is 220.50. 220.50 is, that's where we had former resistance right there. So we've held that so far. This is where the buyers should step in. So if they don't step in here and we continue to break lower, then I think we're likely to go a lot lower in IWM. So again, I'm just watching those levels. 220.50 is a key level to watch. The VIX, let's look at the VIX. The VIX is kind of continuing to drift lower. And if you look at the daily here, you can see this was our former level of support right here. And we're below that. We're definitely trending lower in the VIX. So volatility is coming out of the market as the VIX drifts lower. So I think, as of right now, I think it's possible that the VIX continues to drift lower down to this area, which is right down there, about 1170 or so. And that's the next area of support on the VIX. So that's all I see right now is just kind of this continued drift lower, which likely means the markets could continue to drift higher. Just a quick coverage of the FANGs. They're all starting to kind of break out of their recent resistance levels. So Apple, you can see this was kind of your former resistance, 125.50. We're starting to break out of that to the upside. Microsoft broke out the other day and it's holding. So far that's a breakout and it is holding. So Microsoft can go higher. Obviously, Amazon starting to break out of what looks like this downtrend channel right here today. So that obviously that looks bullish in the short term. And Google broke out and it's, looks very similar to Microsoft, just continuing higher. All of these breakouts for the most part are divergent highs. So they are, you can see how we're making higher highs in prices, but on lower momentum, but not confirmed. If you could just continue to break out and go higher, you're going to burn through these negative divergences. So you want to see the RSI start to turn down and the PPO start to turn down to confirm the negative divergence. Then you start looking for a potential for a trend reversal. But as of right now, it's a breakout in all these FANGs. So tech's not going lower and Q's isn't going to go lower while these fangs are breaking out. If tech is going to sell off more, you'd want to see a false breakout in these fangs, which means we would sell off or gap down and create that false breakout. I just don't see it yet. This one, Snap, looks like it's coming in for a full back test of this broken trend line. So here's your trend line on Snap right there. We have negative divergence. It's all in play. And we broke the trend line support right here. So that's a sell signal. Looks like we're coming in for a back test. That's going to be an objective area to short this thing if you get especially if you get a full back test. Oftentimes the sellers will step in early. So you don't always want to wait for a full back test. But that's what that looks like right now. So we can, if we get rejected at this trend line, which I think I put a higher probability that we do, then I'm looking for this to continue to work its way lower and potentially gap fill all the way down here at $29. That's a big drop, so it's likely going to come in, with tech selling off, but it doesn't necessarily have to. So that's really what I see in this stock right now. And it's not going to drop all at once. It's going to work its way lower over time. Here's a trade idea, kind of a new trade idea. Lennar, which is a home builder. And this is the one that I looked at some of these other home builders. They don't have quite the same setup, but this one has a pretty bearish setup. You can see here, bearish rising wedge right here on the daily chart, and we have negative divergence right there. So you've got a bearish pattern. You've got negative divergence on the RSI and the PPO on the daily, telling you you're going to get a trend line break. If I look at the hourly, you can easily spot that bearish rising wedge right there. So we wait for a break of the lower trend line. There's your trend line, lots of reactions on that trend line. You wait for the sell signal or a breakdown of that trend line. And if we get that, I think we're going to head down to this. There's some support right here at 93.06. That would be my target on this, on a break of that trend line support. So everything looks good for the setup right there. It's not an actionable trade. There's no trigger. You don't have a sell signal or a break of support. But if that shows up, then that's the trade. That's the trade idea. And then just two of these gold miners. I'm only going to talk about two. I've been covering those pretty extensively, but these are about to break out. They haven't fully broken out yet. You have a downtrend. Look what we got going on here. Here's the daily. You've got a downtrend line here on the daily. You have bullish divergence right there, so that's a divergent low, and we've bounced off of that and traded right into that downtrend line. So a bullish break to the upside of that trend line would be a buy signal or a potential entry. So we have a bullish setup here on this BTG, B2 Gold Corp, and just waiting for that breakout to signal that buy signal. Same with IM Gold, IAG, same setup. On the daily, you have this downtrend line right there, and you have bullish divergence. I have it circled right there. And you've rallied right in, pretty much close to the resistance area. So both of these are set up for, they're testing that downtrend line. If you get the bullish breakout, that would be your buy signal on these things. Your next buy signal. I mean, you could have bought down here at support with that bullish divergence, but the next buy signal is going to come on a bullish breakout to the upside. And so that's what I'm looking for on those two. And I'm going to wrap up here with DraftKings. DraftKings continues to look like it wants to trade down to this $48, $49, $50 level. A couple things that I like about this is obviously you had this bearish divergence up here. So when you made a new high, it was on less momentum. See how the momentum's just been diverging lower? And that we've failed since then. So you can see that was a breakout above the former highs. This is breakout, and it's since failed, come back in. We're back testing resistance right here, up around the $65 area, and the sellers are starting to kind of step in. Today it's down, so we look for continued selling, and if you get more selling, I think that's going to set this up for a continued downtrend down to this $50 area. So that's what I like on the chart on this one. I am short this, and I just shorted it on a back test, of this area, and I'm looking for downward price action now. So that's all I got, guys. I do appreciate it. Leave me a thumbs up or a comment of a chart you want me to look at. I do scan the comments, and I look for trade ideas or things that some of the subscribers are looking at. So leave a comment, and I'll if something's interesting, I'll point it out in a video. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.